text message. He's 75 years old and he's text messaging me. And he wrote back, "Wow, so proud of you." And when I got that from him, it just made me, I don't know, I'm speechless, I'm sorry, but it just gave me that confidence and that reassurance that, and I always thought back to that soccer game, that you never give up. Russell's positivity and his team, like Christian and Brent and all those guys, that they all have that same mindset, never give up, always follow through, always move forward, and to have that support is just tremendous. And I'm very thankful for Russell and his team for helping me.
So I want to tell you something. Hiring Russell Brunson was bar none one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. And I want to tell you that when you work with him, he takes you on this journey that you won't even know that you're going to go on. Like I at the very beginning, I had all these hopes and dreams and visions, and I honestly thought that, yay, I'm working with the overnight success maker, and like I thought, whoa, I'm going to make like $500,000 in the first month of working with him. But you know what? The eventuality is that sometimes in life it doesn't always work out the exact way that you want it to work out, and that's certainly where it got to for me. So my 2014 was one of the hardest years I've ever had in my entire life. Like, there was cancer in the family. People were in hospital. I thought I was going to, at one stage, I thought I was going to lose my partner. Like, just wasn't a pleasant scenario at all. And by losing my partner, I mean, like, hospitalization, like really not, like from really bad health issues. And, there were just times when I promise you I wanted to give up. And sometimes I actually, when I say that, I don't just mean give up in business. Like, for me, when I hired Russell, it really was like it sounds really dramatic, but my life's mission, it's so big. Like, I really, really, really wanted to connect with someone who could get me to the next level, who could help me really get from that really stranded, grounded place, sitting at my office every single day, to a place where I'm, helping like people all around the world. And that's why I chose Russell. But man, it was hard. It was really, really, really hard at times to have to deal with those things that come up in your personal life all the time. Like, it was not an easy scenario in 2014, but I'm really, really, really grateful that I listened to Russell. I'm really grateful that I hired him as a coach. Like, the man has changed my life forever. Like, once you're, like, my mind has been blown completely, and there's no way back. Like, I know that anything is possible now.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Really quick, before we jump back on stage and start officially for the course, a lot of you guys are asking tons of questions about two-column club coaching and things like that. So I'm going to do this session right now on the virtual book tour, which is going to show you how to get traffic into your funnels and a bunch of really cool things we're doing there. I've never taught this before, so I'm kind of excited, and hopefully you guys get a ton from it. And then what we're going to do is right after, I'll take another quick break, and then if you have questions about the two-column club coaching, Stephen and I will come up on stage and kind of do Q&A for a little bit. So he's grabbing all the questions. So if you have questions, post them down below, and he'll make sure we have them, and then I'll answer them after the next break. So that's the game plan. Anything else? All right, see you guys here in 10 seconds. All right, welcome to the last module of the Expert Secrets Masterclass. And this is kind of a bonus module because I thought it would be fun, and I've never talked about it, and so it's always fun for me to talk about new stuff. So I'm sure that as you saw us launch the Expert Secrets book, there's been a lot of launch in the last 14 years I've been doing this, and there's tons of techniques and tactics and ways to do it. And as I was launching this book, I was like, how do we do something cool and unique and different? We had big goals. My goal eventually is to sell 1 million copies of this book. And for those who don't know, I'm documenting the whole process at russellbrunson.com, like week by week. I think I have 10 weeks that are there right now. You can see what happened before, how we did the Dream 100, all kind of stuff you see week by week. And so eventually I'm gonna get to 1 million books, but I knew that during this initial push, we wanted to sell a lot. And we did. We sold over 50,000 books in the first 30 days, which was awesome. And thank you guys for all your help on that. And one of the big driving factors behind it was this virtual book tour. And so for any of you guys who saw 1 or 2 or 20 or 30 of these things in your feeds, I apologize. I'm not better looking because I think I was in everybody's feed all the time. If you cross over with any of these people, you saw them a lot of times. But it worked really good. So I'm going to walk you guys through kind of the process of how it worked, why it worked, and hopefully give you guys some ideas on what you can do to help grow and get more traffic into all your funnels. So the virtual book tour, it all begins with a concept that I talk about every time in our inner circle meetings. I'm sure they're sick of me talking about it, but I don't know very many of them that are actually doing it yet. So I'm hoping that the more I talk about it, the more people start doing it. Because everyone wonders, like, Russell, how is your company growing so fast? How are you doing this? Like, it's the same thing. I've been talking about this for like 4 or 5 years now, and very few, if anybody, actually does it. So those of you guys who really want to have success, just do this. Anyway, I'll leave that there because it works. All right, so the Dream 100 is the concept. How many of you guys have heard me talk about Dream 100 since I said that? You're like, crap, I haven't done it yet. Okay? If that was you, now is the time to start not just listening, but doing. Okay, so Dream 100, this is the concept I initially learned from Chet Holmes. He wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. I had a chance to hang out with him a bunch of times before he passed away. And it's one of my top 10 favorite business and marketing and sales books. And one chapter in there he has a concept called the Dream 100. And the way Chet uses Dream 100 is a little different than I used it, but I got the concept initially from him. So the way that he was using it initially is he was working for Charlie Munger, who's a billionaire, and he was working at one of his magazines. And I'm sure I'll mess this story up a little bit, but conceptually it's close. I hope. No, just kidding. So he worked at one of his magazines, and one of the divisions of it was a magazine. And at the time, they were the lowest of all the magazines in that genre, that niche, whatever you call it, industry. They were the bottom of it in terms of advertising sales. And his job is to come in and get more advertising revenue into this magazine. So he came in and looked at it, and there's like 5,000 or 6,000 potential advertisers, and he had a sales team. They're all marketing to all these people trying to get it. And Chet looked at that first and he's like, God, like we're so spread so thin, it's hard to like focus any effort on any client to get them and to really close the deal. And so he started doing more research, and he found out that I think it was like 120, 130 companies spent like 98% of all the income in all the magazines in that industry. So he's like, instead of marketing to everyone, let's just take the top 100, our Dream 100, and let's just market to them really, really aggressively. So they took 100 people, and it went from having 5,000 or 6,000 potential clients to 100, and they set these campaigns. And the way that Chet did is he would do every week, he would mail something in the mail, a big lumpy package in the mail, and then 2 weeks later he'd call him on the phone. Then 2 weeks later he'd mail him something in the mail, call him on the phone. And he consistently did that. In fact, throughout the book he always referenced, he calls it Pig-Headed Discipline. And he said that the original title of the book was called Pig-Headed Discipline, but his publisher made him change it. But it was Pig-Headed Discipline just over and over and over again until he got these people to become clients. And so he started his Dream 100 strategy, and after the first month, like nobody came over. After 6 months, nobody came over. And then within a year, it was like, I can't remember the number, like half or more than half of the advertisers did come over. And they went from being the bottom of the rung in the industry in terms of sales to the top. And then they tripled sales 3 years in a row. And that's kind of the story. And so that was how Chet used his Dream 100 strategy. And then later on, he wrote a screenplay for a movie or something. And same thing, he's like, I'm not in Hollywood. How am I going to get this thing to turn into a movie? And he's like, well, what if I took the top 100 people who potentially could be like actors or producers or directors or people who could actually make this film a thing? And so he built his Dream 100 list there. And they started sending out the script to all 100 of them. Then he'd call them on the phone, and they'd send him a gift. And he kept doing that. And eventually he ended up finding somebody who produced the movie and a whole bunch of other cool things. So the Dream 100 concept works in a lot of different places. But the place it works the best is for us as internet marketers to find people who already have our dream customers on their list. Okay, so for example, people that potentially would want to buy the Expert Secrets book. So I'm thinking, like, who has my dream customers already on their lists? Well, Tony Robbins, his customers would love this. Grant Cardone, his customers would love this. And I start going through and we start making a list of our Dream 100, and then we aggressively market to those people. Okay, so I'll walk you through how we do it, but that's the concept of Dream 100, because if I can get one person on my Dream 100 to say yes, that can turn into hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in revenue for you. So it's worth focusing a lot of time and energy and effort on your dream partners, okay? So the way it initially begins, when you go through the Expert Secrets book, we talk about the 3 core markets, right? So you've got health, wealth, and relationships. So health, wealth, and relationships, okay? These are the 3 core markets. And then from there, each one breaks down into our sub-markets. So I'll go here, and here's different sub-markets, right? So inside of relationships, maybe there's dating, there's marriage advice, there's kids, whatever, right? So there's the sub-markets. And then from there is where you create your own blue ocean. This is where you create your own sub-market. Okay, once again, I use the word create instead of pick because you're creating it. Like this is your market in your business, right? So what's cool is you're in a blue ocean, it's just you. So there's nobody else that's selling what you sell and the way you sell it. Like you are in a blue ocean. So the Dream 100 strategy starts from like looking at where you're at and stepping backwards. Okay? So let's just say this is relationships, this is dating. So I'm looking at who are all the people now in the sub-market that my niche falls into. Because in the sub-market, there's tons of different niches too, right? Inside of dating, there's 1,000 different ones. Inside of relationships, there's 1,000. Inside of real estate investing, there's 1,000 different ones. So I'm coming back one tier, one level to here. And this is where my Dream 100 starts. This is where I'm looking, okay? And you can also step back here, but it's a little further. If you look at like, in the .com Secrets book, I talk about different types of traffic, right? Your hot traffic, so here's hot. These are like people that are on your list, they love you, right? You take a step back, these are people that are in your industry, but don't necessarily know you yet. And you go one more step back, then this is like cold. This is people that don't even know about the problem yet. So this is kind of how it works. So this hot traffic is so warm. So the Dream 100 is going after warm traffic. People who are in the same industry as you are. So they're in real estate investing, but they don't know about you yet, okay? But they do know about Robert Kiyosaki, and they know about, who are all the different real estate gurus right now? They know about Justin Williams. They know about all the other people, but they don't know about you yet, right? That's where your warm market is. All right. So now that I've identified, okay, here's where it is. Now for you, this is where you got to start doing your homework. You got to figure out like who are all of the people that have your dream customers already on their list. So what we do is we create, and we kind of broke it down into 4 different things. First thing I'm looking for, like who are all the list owners? So who owns email lists? Okay. So you think through this, like in your market, who has email lists? And if you don't know, then guess what? It's time for you to do your homework. I have people who come to our coaching programs. I had some of the days in the real estate market, and they're like, hey, I'm in the real estate market. I'm like, cool. Let's do your Dream 100. They're like, well, I don't know anybody else in our market. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, I've heard of Robert Kiyosaki, but that's about it. Are there other people? I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's one of the most heavily, there's thousands of them. Like, I know personally probably 40 real estate gurus. Like, I'm not even in your market and I know more. Like, you need to know who these people are. Who else is selling to your dream customers? Like, if you don't know, it's time to use this really magic tool. It's kind of expensive, only it's free. It's called Google. And you just type in real estate coaching, real estate investment, start Googling everything you can dream of and start finding people's things, start going to the websites, joining their list, go to Facebook, type in real estate, whatever, coaching or weight loss coaching, and like everybody's pages. And like, you need to start going deep into research. As soon as you start opting into everybody's list, following them on their pages, following them on Twitter, listening to the podcasts, like all sorts of stuff. So soon you start seeing who are all the players in your world. You need to know who those people are and have an intimate understanding because those are your potential partners, okay? So it's time to do your homework and figure out who are the list owners. And then I come down and list out, okay, who are my list owners? And try to list out as many different list owners as I can find. Okay, number 2 might be bloggers. In your industry, are there bloggers? So start making a list. Who are all the bloggers? If you don't know who they are, start using Google. Go search Google and find out who are all the real estate bloggers, who are all the financial planning bloggers, who are all the carpet cleaning bloggers, whatever, right? The bloggers. Then you got podcasts. Who are all the different podcasters? These are easier. You can go to iTunes and just find everybody really fast, right? So you find who are all the podcasters in your sub-market. And then the last one are like social influencers, okay? Who are social influencers? Who are they all on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube? Like, who are all these different people, okay? And you start building this list of your Dream 100, okay? So I'm curious, those who are listening to me, how many of you guys have done this so far? How many of you guys who are listening have heard me talk about this more than once and you still haven't done it? Like, this is the most important piece. Before you create your product, you should be doing this. This is where you funnel hack people from. This is where you understand the market. So you figure out what is your market going to be like. If you don't have a super clear understanding of here's the lay of the land, here are all the people, where do I fit, If you don't know who that is, like how are you supposed to pick a blue ocean? You don't even know what oceans are out there, right? Like you got to understand this intimately. This is the research phase for you, okay? Even if you're not talking about traffic yet, it's just understanding the market as a whole, okay? Because if you start looking at it, it's like, oh, wow, that's how so-and-so sells it, and how so-and-so does. This is what they're doing, and like the better picture you get, the better, okay? And some of you guys are looking at me and like, well, Russell, I am a chiropractor. I do not have a Dream 100, okay? So, again, this is the science. The art is for you to kind of think through. So what's the equivalent of Dream 100 for you? So let's say you are a chiropractor in a strip mall. So people come to your place, but they also come to all the other places, right? So what if you did a Dream 100 of like all the other companies that are right around you that have people coming into them, right? Maybe it's not like physical locations, but let's say you are a personal trainer and you're helping people get in shape. You're like, well, where else are my dream customers at? Who else has these people on a list? Well, what about the yoga studio? People going to yoga probably won't be fit. What about the juice bar? What about, you start looking at like, where are my potential customers? Okay, we've told people, local companies, use this Dream 100 strategy to find all their customers locally and blow up their companies really, really fast. Okay, so again, this is the science, the arts for you to figure out for you, where are those people at? Maybe they're not one of these things. Maybe it's people in a physical location close to you. Okay, those are the things you got to think through. All right. So starts with Dream 100. That's step number 1 in this process. Step number 2 is Dream 100 is awesome, but number 2 is like we have to, this comes back to Chet, like pig-headed discipline, right? You have to market to the Dream 100. Okay? Like if they don't know who you are, it's going to be hard to get them to do partnerships and deals and things like that. So how do you market to them? The first thing that I try to do after I identify these people is like, number 1 is how can I provide value to them? Value. Okay, this is like the whole results first thing. Like what can I do for them to provide value? Okay, there's a 15-year-old kid for the last 3 weeks has been sending me packages from Australia. And inside the package is always a really simple letter saying, hey, I'm 15 years old. I use ClickFunnels to fill up an event. At the event, I sold $500,000 worth of coaching. Here's a gift for your kids. And the first thing had all these fidget spinners, which kids are obsessed with, and half the people in my office now. A whole bunch of fidget spinners. Week number 2, I got a big package in the mail that had these little helicopter things that they fly around. 6 of them for my kids. My kids are flying them all around the next week. Yes, 2 days ago, I got these things you hook to your wrist and you bounce these bouncy balls for my kids. My kids are playing, like, this kid is smart, 15-year-old kid. I'm one of his Dream 100 apparently. I keep giving these gifts and he's providing value to my kids. I'm like, I don't know this kid. I don't even know. I love this guy. I've never even met him before, but he keeps providing value to my kids. Like for me, that's a really good way. I've had other people who like find cool crap that I would like and they send it to me and I'm like, dude, where did you, like Travis Cody has done this 2 or 3 times. Like he just sends me random stuff. He went to my old podcast. He took all the transcripts from there. He compiled them into this book. And most of you guys know I'm Mormon. And he made a book that looked like the Book of Mormon, but it said the Book of Brunson on it. And it had all my transcripts in there. And he did this as a gift and sent it to me. Like he provided value to me, so I know who he is. I'm aware of him. Like I think he's awesome now, right? So for you, it's like when you're building this thing, like how do you provide value? Like when I met Tony Robbins the first time, guess what I didn't do? And say, Tony, would you promote my thing? It'd be so cool. Okay? If I did that, he would have been like, dude, you're another one of those people. I would say on average, we probably get 20 to 30 people a day who message me through some channel asking me to promote something for them. Hey, Russell, if you promote this, I'll give you half the money and we'll become rich together. I'm like, dude, first off, like, I'm good. I don't want half of your money. Second off, like, you got to figure this crap out on your, like, just do, like, and so, like, you don't want to be that person. Like, how do you provide value? I'm always looking, like, how can I provide value for these people? Like, what can I send them? Can I send them gifts? Can I send things in the mail? Because someday I'm going to want to ask them for something, but not yet. Okay, Tony Robbins, we've been knowing each other for 10 years. In 10 years, I have spoken for him for free. I built book funnels for him for free. I've spent tons of time and energy, money out of my own pocket to help serve him, right? Not because I was like, okay, someday I'm going to get him to do something, okay? It's not about like the long con. We have a joke about that. Like, I'm not trying to like, in 10 years from now, no, like, I legitimately care about him and his message, and I'm trying to figure out how can I provide value, right? And so I've helped him for 10 years, and then when the book came out, I was like, hey man, like, would you promote this? He's like, sure, that'd be awesome. Because we're friends now, right? So how do you provide value? It may be hard, like, if you have 100 people on your Dream 100, it's hard to provide value, right? But like, some relationships I put more effort into, and other ones I provide value in other ways, right? How can I do that? But for you, think about it. How can you provide value for people? Sometimes value is like coming on their podcast and doing an interview for them. Like sometimes they're looking for guests. That's the value. Sometimes for the bloggers, it's like you writing an article for their blog because they're looking for content, right? it's just however you can provide value. Now, the worst way to provide value, just so you know, this drives all of us influencers crazy. Don't come and like spell check our emails and tell us how we spelled things wrong. None of us like that. I promise you that. Don't come to my webpage and be like, okay, hey, on paragraph 32, you have 2 periods.